Oh, yeah, so we're just going to jump in. So the book of James. Let's get into the book of James.
Oh, here we go.
Numero uno.
Numero uno. So lead us off. How do we do this? Do we want to read this off, or we just kind of
All I know is James is awesome. You know, of any book, be bold, be real, be Catholic. James is it.
Yeah.
You know, he just brings it. He's a manly man, and he's short and to the point, and we don't have to go over very many chapters.
My dad always used to say about James, is like, if you start feeling good about yourself, read the book of James.
Yeah.
He's going to bring you down to earth.
Yeah. Reality check.
Right.
Exactly.
So, Jaime, capítulo uno.
What I like about it is because he doesn't beat around the bush. This is it.
I love it how he's straightforward. I mean, Jesus tells these parables, and you're like, huh? But James is like, here it is. Okay, thank you.
Even Paul is deep. I mean, just so deep you're sitting there going, oh, God.
Or his run-on sentences that go on for a while.
Yeah.
Right. But James is to the point.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
And you could just meditate on those little snippets
nuggets
that he gives, nuggets, and forever, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
Paul's
absolutely.
chilling in prison, so he's got plenty of time on his hands, so he dives in.
Yeah.
James is your bumper sticker kind of guy. Like, you know, here's the saying, boom.
Yeah.
Put it out there.
Just drop it.
And it's
Drop
crazy
the
how
mic.
deep the simplicity is.
Yeah.
We're about to
When you
share.
talk about like in movies, you got those one-liners, you know.
Surely there must be something you can do.
I'm doing everything I can. And stop calling me Shirley.
Well, this is James is just a book of one-liners.
Yeah.
You know. So
Famous liners.
Yeah.
Early on, he says, have joy when you meet trials. He's already giving us the secret sauce to being a saint. You know, to be holy, to be joyful, and to be happy when we're suffering. That's what the saints did. And I haven't done that. I haven't reached that level yet. You know, like to be joyful and to be happy when things suck.
Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Yeah,
They
right.
stink. You know,
Uh-huh.
you know, like that's hard.
It-
you know?
yeah.
Right away. Like
Faith
he goes
produces-
right into it.
Yep.
Right.
Verse 2.
If you can captivate that in everything that you do, if you honestly believe,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not to say like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just either I talked about Melissa about this. Like, either you believe or you don't.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No. Try not. Do. Or do not. There is no try.
And if
Right.
you do, all in or all out. Like it's
Same way with sanctity. Are you going to be a saint or are you not?
Yeah.
You know, are you aiming for it?
right.
Oh, I got to look myself in the eyes there. I'm like, wow, I
you
want
keep-
to.
You
But-
keep talking. It's funny because he says, "Look, a man looks in the mirror and loses his faith
Right.
when he walks away."
Yeah.
You thought you recognized yourself, like, okay, I see things clearly, and then you walk away and you're not the same person. Your faith is, you know, it's dust
Yeah.
in the wind.
And like you always talk about, the longer you wait, the less like you're going to do it. And John Bosco says you better do it while you're young because the longer you wait, the less like it's going to
Yes.
happen. So, yes. So, but the trials are opportunities. Like we go, oh man, this happened. Like, you know, you talked about your daughter getting hurt, like ski accident. Can I share that? You can cut it out if you want to. But anyways, like that's an opportunity for her to become a saint. This is an invitation
Yeah.
to be joyful through suffering, and all of that can compile to be more graces for the universal church than just doing school and just going through the rigmarole of being a teenager.
Well, I also look at
and
it.
you too as parents.
Well, yeah. There's a lots
suffering
of trials
too.
right now.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it too is like, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Yes.
Through this trial, you know, I always pray. It's like this is bad. Help me to learn something from this.
Good.
But then also, what did it prevent me from doing? You know, what was I supposed to do, or what was I going to do that was that this has prevented me from
protected
doing?
you, yeah.
We might never know that.
Yeah.
Like this morning was in adoration, and I was getting things ready, setting it up, and I reached for the missalette to read the readings out of the back, and I pulled it down, and a book fell on the ground. Just a random book, and I put it back in a different spot, and I'm thinking, I don't know why, but this popped in my head. It's like somebody's probably going to see that
because
book
you
and maybe read it
moved
today
and you
because I
just-
moved it.
Yeah.
Coincidence? I think not.
You never
I don't know. You never know how those things, little trials, and even dropping a book ain't a trial, but you
Yeah.
don't know how these little things, minute things might affect
God
somebody
is
else.
orchestrating great things.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why that popped in there this morning, but it, you have
No idea the difference. Yeah.
That book fell for a reason.
Well, and that's how I think we are in people of faith are grateful for everything because you don't take advantage of those little things that might happen. And it's acknowledging that God is always, he's always working. He's never off the clock.
Those little things keep us going. I don't know about you guys,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's just those little things that like, okay, oh yeah, thanks, you do love me, or yes, you do, you are watching out for me. Yeah.
So when you were talking about in the beginning of James, that when you're looking in the mirror and you have faith, you see yourself there and you know who you are. And then you walk out of the house, and all of a sudden now you start doubting.
Yeah.
And in James 1:7, for that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord, since he's a man of two minds, unstable in all his ways. Either you believe or you don't.
Yeah.
James puts it right in your face.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yes. And in
Either
verse
live in it or
5,
you're not.
he says, ask in faith. How often do we ask things? You're like, I like to pray for this, and this. Amen. But I don't know if I have my whole heart in that, but really ask with 100%, with all your being, that this is what this is what you want, and it is in accordance with God's will. Please make that happen in great faith. I mean, for me, people, like, faith is probably my weakest virtue, but my wife, that's her greatest. And so it's a beautiful thing that we can complement each other. Like, I doubt, I fear, and that faith is what we need to ask for. And God's going to always answer that prayer. Have faith that'll give you faith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. I always had a lack of confidence as a kid, and I know a lot of people deal with a lack of confidence, but because I didn't have my dad when I was younger, and not of any fault of his, if you haven't heard my story, but then I realized as I got older, that's not where my confidence actually comes from. And then my worry goes away, like in Ecclesiastes, it doesn't add a day to your life. And then you read this, and it's like, oh man, anything that, like, if you ask for wisdom, like in chapter 5, if any of you lack
Verse
wisdom,
5,
verse 5, sorry, you lack wisdom, you just ask for it. He gives it to you.
But how does he give it to you? So you go back to verse 4. It says, "Testing your faith produces perseverance."
Experiences.
So, like we always say on the show, wisdom comes from experience.
Yeah.
Experience comes from bad decisions. So, so this whole persevering through is like, we got to go through these trials that helps produce the faith, that helps grow in us, and to be.
This is the meat and potato of James. This is what the Bible never, ever once talks about wisdom as head knowledge.
Yes.
It's always experience.
It's always
yes,
experience,
yeah. It's life. It's living it. It's at the heart. It's the reality.
I had a guy one time tell me, he goes, "I quit praying for patience."
Yeah.
I was like, "Why?" He said, "Because he's going to test me to make it grow."
Amen.
Yeah.
As a parent, he tests your patience.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is actually the point of not being tempted. And it says, God will never tempt you.
Right.
13, no one experiencing temptation should say, I am being tempted by God. For God is not subject to temptation,
That's the devil
to
that
evil.
tempts.
Yeah, so that's
But he allows that temptation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He may not cause it. He may not be the tempter, but he allows the tempter to tempt us so that we can grow.
make our decision
our
to
faith.
love him. And
So we can make those bad decisions,
Yeah.
so we can grow in experience, so we can grow in wisdom.
You just blew my mind.
yeah.
So like in verse 12, it says, so that we can receive the crown of life. It's all about
Yeah.
getting our backside into heaven.
Yeah.
And others, as many as we can bring with us, God willing. Yeah.
But I think about he allows us into these temptations, and then so many times we fall into that.
Yeah.
But how often do you think is he like guarding us from the full?
He only gives us what we can handle, right?
Right, but I mean the full consequences of it.
Yeah.
Like you do something, and you feel guilty about it, and you turn your life around. But what did he keep you from?
Yeah.
The
right.
full consequences.
You'll find out
of it?
someday.
Yeah. Maybe I don't want to know.
Well, you do, because you'll be like so grateful
Well,
that
that's
God has
true.
kept
Yeah,
you
maybe
out of
more
all
thankful.
of these,
Yeah.
and your guardian angel and all your saints. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
in the NAB version, it talks about temptation. You're not tempted by God, and it says, "For God is not subject to temptation, to evil," and it doesn't say by, right? It's temptation
Too evil.
to do evil things, or
Right. In other words, he's not up there like we see in this mythological, like Zeus
Yes.
and Hercules and all these other gods that are, you see those stories where they're looking down on us and they're tempted to say, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
and
Right,
they
right.
destroy something just
Will
to see
he
how
make
we
the right
react.
choice?
Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't do
He's not a
that.
God of wrath. And
It's interesting that all the way in James, at the whether it's in chronological order or not, the beginning of the book in Genesis, Adam and Eve are tempted by being all-knowing and all-powerful, being like God, right? Saying that you will be like a God or a God, and that's just not true. And it says, rather, each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own
Desire.
desire of the flesh.
Yeah.
And so we can't even blame the devil for the temptations. It was our own choice that got us into this mess, and it is our own.
It's our own desires,
Yeah.
but the devil knows those
Oh
desires.
yeah,
and
and he'll
And he
play with it.
he can
manipulates
play with
it.
it, but it's our desires.
Yeah, he's just
It's first
twisting the
started with
truth,
us.
right?
Yeah.
That's all he can
That's
do.
all he does is twist the truth. Yeah.
The truth shall set you free.
So there are desires. So if it's power, fame, money, whatever it is, he's going to
Yeah.
play with that to get us to dive deeper into our desires.
It talks about that right there, which is the rich man.
Yeah.
It goes right into that, talking about, if you have the desire and the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right.
These are part of those temptations. We want money provides control over our own scenario.
Isn't this like the opposite of what the culture is right now?
Yes.
The culture is all about, here's your desire, go for it.
Yeah. Follow wherever your
Follow
desire leads
wherever,
you.
whatever your desire is, it's yours. I mean,
No
have it.
consequences.
Yeah.
Just do what you want.
Do whatever makes you happy.
James punches you in the face and says otherwise. And right here,
Which is great because we need to be slapped around a little bit because it won't make us happy because in the end we're going to feel like we'll be, if you're getting drunk, you'll be throwing up in the toilet
Yeah.
and you're not going to be happy the next day. So he's trying to protect us like a good father,
Yeah.
before we even get to that point.
I don't remember eating that.
people ask they ask us, what's your favorite book? What should I read? I'm like, just read James. Just start with chapter 1 and just read that
You can
chapter
do it
over
in
and
an
over
hour
and
or two.
over.
You can finish the
I
whole
know,
thing.
it's only 28 verses.
Yeah, I mean,
or
yeah,
27,
27.
28 verses. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
And they're not like long verses.
No, like I said, he is to the point.
Yeah.
Everyone should be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow
You
to
can see
anger.
why us as guys we're cool with this because
Yeah.
there it is. That's what you're supposed to do. Thanks. Bye.
Yep. Put away all filth and evil excess, and welcome the word, which I love this. It's been planted in you. It's because so even if you're an atheist, even if you're
It's
God,
there.
Yeah, God put the seed in your heart.
Natural law and
Yep.
And
And be
conscience.
Yes.
That well-formed conscience. Or
Be
it
a
needs to
doer
be.
of the word. 22. I don't
The
mean to be
doer.
just running through,
Not hearers.
because this is James in a nutshell. Like as
Yeah.
you continue to read the next chapters,
Yeah.
he just says, "Do this, don't do that." And by the way, and it goes on to say this, that if you're a religious person, well, what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
And where are you going with it? Because faith without works is dead.
Yeah, but here, like you were saying in 22, where it says, "Be doers of the word, not hearers only." So in other words, you got to do something with it.
Deluding
You're
yourself.
deluding yourself.
I
if
mean, we
you
as
think-
Catholics are that way. We're not doers. We'll go to mass, check
go
it
sit
off
in the
the
pew.
list. But we don't go out and like he says later on at the very end of the chapter. Hey, those of you, if you're religious, watch your speech. Okay.
Clearly, don't
visit
cuss.
orphans and widows. Now, you better be out there like doing these things. And then 3, keep oneself understand from the world, unstained from the world. So keep, all the things we're talking about. Here's a checklist. If you're religious, are we doing that? Have you visited orphans? Have you visited widows? Have you? How's your speech? Yeah, you were saying about cussing. And,
Yeah, I mean, really.
watching your tongue, watching your mouth.
Bridle your tongue. If you don't, you deceive it because it's the window to your heart.
Right.
You deceive your own heart, and your religion is in vain.
Yeah.
Yes, in other words, you did it all for nothing.
Yeah.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
Way to go.
So you're wasting your time.
Yep.
Be quick to hear and slow to speak. It's easier for me as an introvert to do that, guys. You guys like to talk more than I do.
Yeah.
But quick to hear and slow to speak. Like they say all the saints, as they grew more and more in holiness, they said less and less words.
Yeah.
And they listened. slow to speak, because I mean, usually what comes out of my mouth is like, wait a second, pause, be prudent, but before you say something,
Yeah.
if you don't say anything, you can't get in any trouble. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and also too, you learn by listening instead of constantly talking. So I mean, I think slow to, what was that? First was it
19.
19.
Quick to hear,
quick
slow
to
to
hear,
speak.
and slow to speak. So in other
Everyone.
words, be ready to learn.
Yeah.
Be ready to listen.
Right. To be a disciple means be a learner. Yeah.
You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Shut your mouth and listen.
Yep.
So in other words, be doers.
Yeah, that's it. And if we don't do what the book says, I mean, we're culpable. We're responsible for that. We're going to be held accountable to that. So just like you said, like you just go sit in the pew.
Yeah.
It-
Have you fed the hungry? Have you
Yeah.
helped pro-life causes? I mean, what are you
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
with yourself?
Yeah.
With your time, with your treasure.
What do you wanna do with your life?
Gosh, it's
That was it.
I just had this conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had this conversation with Joan because she was asking, "Do I have to go, to CCD or?" And I said, well, "Let me just say this: no. But what you have to do is you got to have some sort of devotional where you're going to persevere and you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're always going to grow in your faith.
Yeah.
What are you going to do if you don't go? You're going to sit and watch TV?
Yeah.
You're going to read a book? You're going to
And
draw?
Of course, maybe it is about. Initially, we think about it's about us, but her not going. Like, what about our classmates? What are they
Exactly.
losing from her not being there? So, just like Mass, it's not about us; it's about God, worshiping Him. Do you have to go? No, you don't.
Yeah.
But here's
and-
the positives and negatives by going and not going.
Other people see your actions, and that is in our sacrifice. You're talking about Harley, and the more we can put on a smile and not even acknowledge it, like when you're to be fasting, right? You're supposed to wash your face and put a
Right.
smile on your face. And then people know, like, wait, what? You had what happening?
Yeah.
You never even mentioned that your knee was hurt,
I think our wives do that
I hate to
beautifully.
beat
like,
up on Harley,
they
but
haven't slept
yes.
for, they sleep a couple hours,
Yeah.
up with the kids, whatever else. Next day, they're smiling and making
I'm so-
breakfast. You're like, what the
yeah,
heck? Like,
yeah.
I'd be grouchy and complaining and
Now we're
everything
going
else.
back to verse 1 where it's
Yeah,
saying, be joyful about your trials.
Oh, right back to the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a smile on your
Persevere
face.
in your faith.
That's good. Maybe you could practice in front of a mirror or something.
But this says, that the welcome the word that has been planted in you. And I just wanted to make this point before we end, that the word that's planted in you and is able to save your souls.
Yes, because that's what James cares about.
Yeah.
That's what we should be caring about. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to nurture that seed that's within you by taking action and doing stuff. James is so good.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait till we get into chapter 2.
Yeah.
Here we can. There's a little bit of apologetics that goes on in James
I got
chapter 2.
I got a little bit more yellow there. That means apologetics.
Yeah, there's lots of apologetics that goes in chapter 2,
Yes.
but I can't wait to dive into
Joe's
that
ready
one.
for that.
So, I'm excited about that one.
I
I got
wanna-
lots of the highlighted there.
As entrepreneur or whatever I am in this world and with Rome Boys, there's a lot of good phrases that help. And James is, I think, summed up in this phrase. It says that in 25, right at the end, a doer who acts, such a one shall be blessed in what he does. So doubt will take you out of action, which is the beginning of chapter 1, right? Doubt. Doubt will take you out of action. Action will take you out of doubt. And this is why. Because you'll be blessed when you take action. God's going to take care of you. You may not know what to say. You may not know what to do. You may not know how to do it. But if you take that leap in faith in everything that you do, God's going to show you, hey, it's going to be all right. I got you.
And I don't know who needs to hear this, but they say that same thing with depression. When someone is sad and they have lots of anxiety, get active. Get out and go
there
do
you go.
something, and
Yeah.
that'll get you. Oh, what was my problem again?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Because God's going to take care of you.
Yeah, because when he asks us to do something, he's not going to let us do it alone.
Right.
He's going to
Yeah.
be along there with us, so we're never alone.
We may feel like it, but we're not. Yeah.
Just like the apostles. You may not even know what to say, but don't worry. I will speak through
I'm gonna
you.
speak
Right?
through you.
Yeah.
I got the
Think
words.
about that the first time they were sent out. Like, what the heck? We're going to
What
be
am I
casting out
gonna
demons,
do?
and what else?
Our leader
You
was
say
just
so.
crucified, and now we got to go out blind, and they didn't have the Bible.
Right.
Nope.
Here we go.
Yep. They were the sacred tradition, were they not?
That's right. They were passing on the word. Mm-hmm. Well, thank y'all for joining us for James chapter 1 in this Bible study series that we've started, and hope you'll join us for chapter 2 coming soon.
Hope you learned something. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I did.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
Be bold.
be real.
Be Catholic.
God bless.